Hi, I'm Jeanette, and today I'm going to show you how to make hot jam donuts. It's a really simple recipe, you just need a few ingredients, and it can be easily made vegan if that's how you roll as well. So we're going to start off with 400 grams of plain flour, and I've also got 5 grams of salt and 50 grams of caster sugar or white sugar in this bowl. Just going to sift that all together, and to that I'm going to add about 4 grams of yeast. Now, don't worry too much about exact quantities of yeast. If you add more, it'll just go faster. If you add less, it'll be a bit slower, but you'll still get there in the end. And to that, I'm just gonna mix it around a bit with my hands and make a well in the middle. And now I'm going to add 300 mils of warm water. And I'm just sort of gradually bringing in the dough into the middle. Now, donuts are usually made with what we call an enriched dough. So a normal bread dough would just have flour, water, yeast, salt. To a donut recipe, we want it to be richer and sweeter, so that's why we add the sugar. Some recipes will use milk. We're just using water today, but I'm also going to add some melted butter or, vegan replacement of butter. Now I'm just going to leave that for a bit before adding the butter, because butter can actually slow down the yeast fermentation process. So you can cover that with some cling wrap or a damp tea towel and come back when you can sort of see some cracks forming in the flour. Here's the dough I started earlier. So the butter needs to be soft or it won't add in properly. We're just going to add the butter into this and sort of knead it in. Okay, so the dough's been resting for about an hour and a half and it's ready to roll out and see how it looks on the board. So, bit of flour on the dough, bit of flour on the board. Should just drop out. I just want to knead it and push it around a bit, but very gently, flour generously. Just stretch it out. Just going to put a bit of flour in the rolling pin. Just gently push it out. You don't need to press. You're just trying to gently stretch it as far as it'll go. So if you see it start tearing, that's too much. All right, so that's been rolled out to maybe 1.5 or 2 centimeters. Time to cut out our donuts with a round cutter. Just dipping that in a little bowl of flour so it helps it to not stick. And just make sure that these circles are sitting on some flour so they can be picked up later. So right now when you poke it, it kind of bounces up fairly quickly, but we want it to bounce up slowly, and that's when we know it'll be ready for frying. So we're just going to let this sit for maybe like 20 minutes and come back when they've risen a little bit more. So while you're waiting for your oil to heat up, make sure you've got everything else set up, ready to go. So you've got your little colander to put your donuts to drain once you take them out. I've also got my sugar and cinnamon in a bowl here. All right, once your oil's hot enough, just gently pick up each donut and just drop it gently into the oil and let it fall away from you. So I'm only going to put maybe like 4 in here. You don't want to overcrowd the pan. So you're just frying until you get a golden brown color, which we're starting to get on that side. Yep, so you can flip that over. Once they're fried on both sides, just transfer them to the colander to drip off a bit. And do your next batch. So when they come out of the oil, you really only want to let them drip off for a few seconds because you want them nice and hot when they hit the sugar so the sugar sticks to them. Straight into the sugar, give them a good dusting. And they're hot jam donuts, so all of this needs to happen real quick. So you've got to do this while they're still hot, but you know, without burning yourself. So you can use a glove or something if you need to. Just poking it with a chopstick and getting the nozzle of the jam in there and gently squeezing until the jam's just spilling out of the hole.
So what is actually a donut?
Well, I would consider any dough that you deep fry is a donut. So a lot of cultures have some form of donut, not always sweet, sometimes they're savory, but it has to be deep fried. So like, you know, those like ring-shaped muffin pan type things that you apparently put cake batter in and bake it, not a donut. Not fried, not a donut.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Hey Regan, hot jam donuts are ready.
You need to show me. It's not just biting it.
Oh. That's not a great shot, I've bitten too much.
That's fine.
I've eaten too much too. They're really fucking tasty. That's so good.
Thanks for watching, and make sure you share with your friends or you'll give yourself a sugar headache.